Hello everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Star Trek Drake, an actual play of the Star Trek Adventures rule set as produced by Modifius Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and join me are some lovely individuals who we'll get to meet in a moment. Only real announcements I have at the top of the session. One bit of a downer and the rest all upbeat. Unfortunately, if you didn't already see on Twitter, the Age Your game is not happening. There was just simply scheduling issues, and we had just been trying to meet for about a month and a half, and it just wasn't happening. So, standard sort of tabletop gaming stuff where scheduling won at the end of the day. But in more brighter news, for those of you that haven't seen it already, I did start the Cyberpunk Red all max tac buddy cop game on Sundays. Would highly recommend. We started with a bang, literally, and now next week the max tac full Borg operatives are going to be in a bowling tournament in Night City, which you're probably wondering how did you get to that point? Just watch, it'll make sense in the moment. But that's on Sundays at every 5 p.m. Eastern, or you can catch it on my YouTube on Tuesdays. But in general, that's what's going on there. Other than that, the only other announcement I have is that next week, Star Trek Drake will not be meeting, but instead, I will be over on Cybernation Uncensored channel on Twitch. To do Session 0 for a Masks game, or basically Teen Titans powered by the Apocalypse, is the quickest way I can describe it. So I believe that's at 8 or 9 p.m. I'll make a tweet when they officially announce it, but I would recommend coming over and harassing me since, I'm doing tech for that game too. So just come over and give me shit because I find that funny. But other than that, I think all we need to do is do introductions and we can get the show on the road. So, Peter, what you got?
Hey everybody, I'm Peter, or Petrus Aquinas, over on the interwebs. If you can find me also at the Roll and Review YouTube channel. We do the Drunken Dice podcast we recorded yesterday. Maybe you'll see it sometime if I can edit it. And I play the Drake's captain, the culinarily challenged Zindi Thalen.
I feel like that in every epitaph or every story that's ever written about the captain, we have to just use culinarily challenged. It's a rule now. It's canon.
It is. It has to be there.
That's his full name.
Yeah, culinarily challenged Thalen. Yes.
Jeremy, what do you got?
All right, I'm your spy, or Jeremy, and I play our ship's intrepid chief engineer, AC Chatham. And I'm not nearly as interested as our captain, or interesting as our captain.
I don't know. There's been some moments that I've really enjoyed. Jeffrey, what about you?
I'm Jeff, also known as Sunbay on the internet. I play Commander Tucker Cole, the human XO, possible Section 31 agent. Who knows?
Certainly not. Last but not least, Randy, what do you got going on?
This is Randy, also known as Dr. Nemesis. I play our ship's doctor, who is a human from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, named Dr. Early Langerhausen.
Nice. And away we go into the intro video.
I literally have AOL.
Nice. And I think the stream heard it too. Now everybody knows. Everybody knows that Doc really has an AOL account. It survived into 2195. You just have an AOL account. Oh, Lord. Well, for those of you that might be new or you just love hearing me saying, it's something we do here for Star Trek games. We have the players doing opening log. And Peter, I believe Mr. Culinarily Challenged has it today. So take it away for us, please.
All right. Captain Starlog, stardate 0729.3. Our previous encounter was definitely something that Starfleet Command will want to hear about. First of all, our interactions with the Tholians, though initially promising, ended more or less where relations between our two governments have been for quite some time. Icy and potentially hostile. Not what you would think of Tholians as particularly being capable of icy, but I digress. The space dragon, or space drake as some of the crew have come to call it, seems to be orbiting its chosen star perfectly well. Hopefully our probe can record its hatching. That's something I would love to see in person, but alas. Speaking of drakes, not only is that the name of our ship, but in the midst of the chaos of trying to communicate with the space drake, Lieutenant Zygen introduced me to the Draconomicon, which ended up being a volume in a series of rule books surrounding a human role-playing game. I had not encountered such things on Earth, which I have been told is a little surprising, but I must say it has captured my attention, and I've read through nearly every book of this edition. Perhaps I can get some of the senior staff to play one sometime in the not-too-distant future. I'm also aware that snacks are involved, so 2 hobbies in 1, perhaps. In more important news, the Drake is investigating a rogue Class D planet. While that wouldn't be a terribly odd occurrence, this planet is broadcasting a Federation distress signal. As far as our logs show, there shouldn't be any Federation ships out this far since we are the first ship that has been this way. I worry that this might be a trap from our Tholian friends, but we are duty-bound to investigate. End log.
Very nice. She may have 1 momentum from me, and I believe chat brings you up to 2. So where we begin today's game is, I guess, once again, on the bridge, where all of you are just sort of at your stations as the Class D, the rogue Class D planet, is displayed on the view screen. And as you all are kind of looking at the distress signal, Zygen speaks up and says, I mean, I can confirm it's a valid distress call, sir, but it doesn't make sense. How to say this? Does anybody remember the Gorgon? Anybody remember the Gorgon?
Like the story?
Well, the ship, the Federation ship.
No.
Not off the top of my head, Lieutenant.
I
Well,
don't.
Here's the funny thing. I've tried looking up the transcoder code, and the computer's telling me that the Gorgon, the ship's code is from the Gorgon, but it's not telling me what the Gorgon actually is known for.
And this is a Starfleet ship.
Yeah. I guess I can also confirm that it's a Columbia class, so one of the refit NXs, but
Okay.
I can't tell you why it's here or what it's capable of. I really couldn't tell you.
We sure the computer's working right?
And at this, Zygen turns to AC. I don't think I've noticed any issues.
There's no... I know that it takes us a while to communicate with Starfleet Command at this point, and so it would be pointless to try to get that information in any meaningful time frame. But was there anything in our records of the Gorgon being sent anywhere in this direction of space? Like, is it even stationed here, or is there no information on where she's supposed to be?
I literally can tell you that it is the NCC-07. I can confirm it's a Columbia class, and that's it.
Wow. All right. So Starfleet doesn't know what she is, or just hasn't logged it. All right. Well, let's do some long-range scans. See if we can find, if we can narrow down where the ship is, and then perhaps get some better readings on what their situation is.
Now, you guys have the option of doing a roll here to get some momentum, or we can just sort of streamline it a little bit. But Zygen would be making the roll, and the ship would assist her with a sensor science.
Well,
Let's
I'd
do
be
it.
happy to roll for Zygen.
Sure.
All right.
Her role is what?
A reason science.
Or reason science.
Mm-hmm.
And let's
Right.
take a gander at her relevant foci.
She has sensor operation.
operation. Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems reasonable. All right, well, let's see how this goes. Using a focus, 2 dice. Complication range normal.
And the ship would be
Sensor science.
sensor science.
Not my worst roll.
No, it's actually pretty good. That's
That's
already
pretty
2
good.
successes. And it was a difficulty 1, so you already passed.
Yes.
And then, yeah, so that's 3 successes, meaning you guys are up to 4 momentum. So, a portion on the northern hemisphere of the planet zooms in, and what you see is that there is a Columbia class landed on the planet, but this isn't like a generations landing. This is like someone has found the almost perfect spot to park the Gorgon, which, as far as I've been able to tell in all my reading, neither the NX class nor the Columbia class was ever designed for planetfall. So the fact that it's sitting there pristine and basically a museum ship, as far as you're concerned, as far as scans are concerned, it's perfectly workable. You could go on it, fire it back up, and fly away. It's that good.
Does it have any extra systems added that would facilitate this that are non-standard for the class?
Well, that seems like an interesting question. You can either have Zygen ask that as her free question, or if you again want to fish for momentum, we can make a roll out of it.
Thoughts?
Let's have Zygen ask it.
Yeah, use that free question.
So as you communicate that in character AC, Zygen does a few extra scans and says, okay, new information. The ship sensors are not penetrating through the Gorgon's hull. That I can't tell you what it's made of. It's just made of some sensor blocking material.
Interesting. It's not simply polarized uranium. Okay.
So not only does it have a crack helmsman, but it's also shy.
So it would seem.
I should also say I can't tell you if there's life signs. I can't tell you if there's any power indications. I can't tell you if there's even atmosphere currently present.
Well, it's a Class D, so we're going to have to, if we go down, we're going to have to take a shuttle and try to get in through one of the shuttle bay ports.
Makes sense.
Well, it's a Federation ship in distress. Is the signal still broadcasting?
Yeah, it's still broadcasting on loop, just a standard SOS, no details.
No details.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I'm seeing, sir.
All right. Well, I think we should go down there, see what's going on.
Right you are, sir. I'll get my trauma kit ready.
Grab your trauma kit. Yep. XO, let's bring some weapons. We don't know what's going on down there. It looks like it should be okay since she appears to be landed without an issue. But that could also potentially be hijacking and who knows. So.
And at this, Kozlov actually turns and says, "Oh, Captain, if I can be making a suggestion.
Yes, Koslov.
Unlike the Columbia class, the Walker class is designed for planetfall. Instead of, flying down in cramped shuttle pod, I could conceivably land Drake right next to this Gorgon vessel."
AC, how long would the ship handle the atmosphere of this planet?
GM, how long do I think the ship would handle? I'll happily roll
Easily.
for it, or we can just, we're designed for planetfall and pressurized environments, so I figured indefinitely.
I only
Unless
asked
there's
'cause it's
something
a Class
special.
D, but yeah. Okay. All right.
We should be able to handle it indefinitely, sir.
Excellent. Then I suppose there's no reason not to, unless XO.
The only thing I could think about, and this is thinking about like what you mentioned about a possible Zindi trap, is if this is bait to take over a ship that lands and leave those other people stranded. So if we did land, we need to balance out security on the away team and remaining on board the Drake.
Holy Commander, you always think there's secret Klingons hiding under every rock, don't you? That's one of our boys down there. Come on.
How many times have I been wrong?
Some. I don't really keep count.
The NX refit did not have a sensor impenetrable hull.
Or landing systems.
I will take your word for that, sir.
All right. Well, with all due caution, then, XO, let's position security teams at all access points to entry points to the ship. And Kozlov, take her down.
Aye, sir. Now, again, the other reason I'm having Kozlov roll here is because complications are possible. And again, I'm trying to, beef you guys up with some momentum, give you something to start with. So if someone would care to do Kozlov, she's doing a control and con. The ship will assist you with an engines and a con. And the difficulty on this is just a 1.
I got her.
All right, cool.
I'm assuming this is a helm operations check.
Well, I don't know. She might have to get out and push. She might have to use her EVA,
Just in case.
Anything to avoid the Rickies.
Oh!
Nice. So this is, again, why we roll.
Better than to say that.
You were saying it's a Ricky. And there
I
it
was
is.
going to say, so technically Kozlov could use her determination of don't pull a Ricky, which is literally what she just did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
That
feel free to
makes
re-roll
sense.
those dice, at least her dice anyway.
Dear Lord.
It's always great, when you get a new helm officer and you're like, hey, just land the ship, it'll be easy.
Ooh,
There we go.
That is
Okay.
significantly better. In
She
fact,
unrickied.
And as the XO, didn't we discover last week that I have a special ability to help them recover a determination?
yes, if I remember correctly, it is a 3 momentum spend. So technically, you're currently at 7 momentum. So if you were to spend 3, you would go down basically where you are right now. And
Seems fun.
Kozlov would retain her determination.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
Okay. So narratively, what happens is Kozlov begins to land the Drake. Blue alert begins to sound across the ship. In fact, I think this is the first time blue alert has ever sounded on the Drake. So it's sort of what we hear on Voyager, kind of just that low hum or that low sort of beeping that alerts you that planetfall is happening, but it's not like in your face or disrupting like yellow and red alert are. And since, again, the bridge is on the underside of a Walker class, you all are able to watch, around your feet and out the windows as the Class D planet gets closer and closer and closer until eventually you're like at airplane height where you can just make out the Gorgon sort of nestled between 2 mountain ranges, so kind of in a valley. And Kozlov very skillfully angles the Drake so that you land saucer to saucer. So you guys are kind of pointing at one another where the saucer is. And the whole view screen and the whole windows on the bridge fill up with ground. And then there's a light sort of thud as you touch down carefully. And then everything stops. And Kozlov turns and says, reporting planetfall at 0900 hours, sir.
Excellent job, Lieutenant.
Very good. Though I will say, real quick, Lieutenant Commander AC, there was problem with left impulse engine on way down. I was able to compensate for it, but is something I should note.
I will check, Lieutenant.
Never thought I'd live to see the day that she's just sitting in the dirt. Pretty impressive.
That Starfleet Corps of Engineers, they know how to do stuff.
I send
so
a message
Early will
to-
get his away team gear.
AC will run to engineering and get his tools, and also ask them to check the port impulse engine.
So let's talk equipment then, because I think we should go around. So, AC, you're bringing a engineering tricorder at least,
And an engineering toolkit.
and an engineering toolkit,
and EV and like space tape
space tape.
to seal, the suit or use whatever you do with space tape.
I mean, we say it as a joke, but there is legitimately something called airplane tape, which is used to tape up legitimate aircraft. So, learned about that the other day. It was a fun thing to learn. Okay, so that's what you've got going on. Early, I'm assuming you're bringing a medical tricorder with you and a medical kit.
Yes.
Okay.
And it says Type 2 phaser here on my sheet. That's the pistol-shaped one, right?
Correct.
That's enough for me.
Yeah, I'm bringing a Type 2 as well.
Type 2, okay. Cole, what are you bringing?
The Type 2 phaser and the now I'll leave the Exo's super secret tricorder behind and take a regular security tricorder.
Okay. And then turning to the captain, since you technically are planet side, you could go away with the away team, or we can bring your supporting character if you'd rather bring them.
I don't know. I think it would be fun to bring Thalen on this one.
Then let's make that happen.
Urk it. Come on.
So what is Thalen going to be bringing?
He's probably just bringing the phaser Type 2.
Okay.
He's not expecting anything terribly big. So, which might be a bad call, but we'll see.
We'll find out together. All right. So, to set the scene, the four of you are now located in the forward saucer where one of the airlocks is. There is a security contingent that will guard the airlock while you're away. We're going to just set the value of them at 6, so there's 6 of them in total. And at every other airlock, as per Commander Cole's orders, there will be about 5 or 6 further security guards. So you have your entrances covered. But as you kind of look through the little porthole next to the airlock itself, all of you would be able to see a gantry slowly extending and connecting to a similar airlock aboard the Gorgon. And after a moment, there's kind of a hissing sound, and the airlock reports that there is an atmosphere on the other side, and that it is perfectly breathable. You're also muted, Dr. Early, as is tradition.
Early would like to look over at Cole knowingly and say, "See, Commander? One of ours."
We've just come to the rock. We haven't turned it over yet.
Touché.
All right. Well, I'm going to push the button to open the inner door.
Yeah, and it kind of opens, and what you smell coming through the gantryway is kind of stale air, meaning that this is something that hasn't really been moved in a while. And this reference might go over people's head, but when I was young and I was stupid, I used to go exploring caves and stuff in the area. And I don't know if any of you have ever been in a deep cave or something that's really underground, but there's a different quality to the air where it hasn't really been circulating, and there's just a feeling to it where if you stayed long enough, you probably could asphyxiate. It's that kind of a thing. Now, in game mechanics, what I'm going to say is that you all are good for about a 2-hour excursion without EV suits. But any more than 2 hours, I will make you all start rolling fitness medicine checks, just so you know.
AC actually says, "I think I might go suit up, sir. I'm not too happy about that air. Growing up on a station, that is not good air."
You mean something might be wrong with the life support?
I don't know. It's just I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a physicist. It's just tickling my hindbrain is bad.
Fair enough. Well, if you're going to grab a suit, would you grab an extra tank in case I got to administer oxygen to anybody?
Would we need full suits or just bring respirators?
I don't know. We all need them.
I would say, for sake of argument, you could get away with a respirator.
AC's still going to bring a whole suit.
Still going to bring a whole suit?
As a station, yeah. I'll gather up respirators and my suit and an extra tank.
If you recommend suits, we'll go with suits.
It's EXO. It's just my upbringing is all. Grew up aboard stations far away from everything.
Hey, I'm the one who's looking for Klingons under rock, so
Yeah, but we might want to weigh that against checking to see if any Starfleet personnel are in need of medical assistance.
It won't take long to suit up.
You're the boss.
Quick montage of everybody suiting up.
Yeah.
Like a Voltron montage, you know?
Kinda, yeah.
Because you always put your mask on first before you assist others.
Then apply airplane tape.
Yeah.
Triple tape.
Alrighty.
So, for my notes, what is the marching order as you guys proceed across the gangplank or the crosswalk? So we got Cole in front, I think.
I'll go first.
Okay. Would like to be second in line.
I'm probably going to be second.
Second in line. Okay.
Yeah.
AC and Early, which one of you is bringing up the rear?
I would not like to bring up the rear.
Okay.
Well, it looks like I'm bringing up the rear.
Yeah, there you go.
Doc, I need you scanning for life signs, anything like that. Hopefully we'll pick up something now that we're inside.
Aye, sir. I pull out my medical tricorder and begin scanning for life signs.
All right. So, as you cross the crosswalk and start to get into the actual Gorgon vessel itself, the moment you pass the hull is when your tricorder begins reporting information. Specifically that the atmosphere is circulating. It's just at life support is at bare minimum. You are seeing that one of the secondary reactors is online, which is what's powering life support. But you are able to confirm, and this is something all of you would notice on your own tricorders as well, there are no life signs. The computer is also at bare minimum, so if you ever were to try to access the computer, you'd have to sort of balance power. There is no sign of a current antimatter-matter reaction active, so the main engine is offline. You're also not detecting any... How do I say this? You're not detecting any signs of battle damage, is what I would tell you. Where, like, as you cross through the airlock and you get into the NX-style corridors, you're not seeing, like, any plasma burns. You're not seeing any blown-out conduits. You're not seeing really anything. It's just sort of pristine Columbia-class corridors.
No life signs detected, Commander. Minimal life support and only a very small amount of power. I do think the computer ought to be up, but I ain't seeing any signs of struggle. I'm not even sure I detect any signs of, violence of any sort.
Well,
I think I know where I need to be. Main engineering.
That sounds like a plan, Commander. I think I would like to... Let's see if we can get access to a computer terminal, perhaps on the bridge. See if we can't find the logs and perhaps see where the crew went.
Recommend everybody go into buddy system, sir.
Doc, would you like to come to engineering?
Sure. Right behind you, buddy.
You and me, sir.
All right.
All right.
Keep comms open and let's go.
So let's do
That actually does bring a point to mind. If the hull of this here ship is able to stop all of our sensors and all of our tricorders and all of our communications, I'm sure once we wander far enough apart from each other, there's going to be enough hull between us that we can't, stay in touch. I mean,
that actually what I was going to use the very first complication the chat redeemed. So you cannot communicate from, say, main engineering to the bridge, but you can communicate from the bridge to deck 2. So you kind of have a deck to play with in terms of communication range.
Okay.
That's the first complication. The second complication the chat just gave me is that the only way to get back to the Drake is if you go back to that airlock and then you get the signal again.
Oh.
So we can't talk to the Drake at all. That was my question. I was just getting ready to ask.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. And
Well, since we're standing right there, I will press my communicator and let them know
that's our
that we're going
buddies.
to be
in chat
out,
there.
out of. Yep. That we're going to be out of communication for a little bit.
so yeah, sounds like we had a buddy system going on. Let's do Thalen and Cole first, and then we'll do Early and AC and in main engineering. So I guess this is a question that applies to everybody, but since the power is not really online, turbo lifts aren't working. So Cole and Thalen, are you
Ooh.
guys going to take the empty turbo lift shaft ladder, or are you guys going to go through the Jeffries tubes?
Where is the turbo car?
The good news is that the turbo car, when it is powerless, it goes to the lowest point on the ship, so
Okay.
you're not going to get like crushed by a falling turbo lift.
What do you think, Cole?
I've always hated Jeffries tubes.
Well, let's try the turbo lift then. A little more spacious.
And
So the good news is that I am only going to require a fitness and a con from both of you at a difficulty of 1, mostly for giggles, but also could get you some extra momentum, which,
Or not.
or not, we'll find out together.
Fitness and con.
All right, Thalen's fine, no issues there.
hand-to-hand combat is a focus.
No, you're not fighting the ladder. No.
I'm fighting being tired.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, so this is actually perfect. This is why we roll, because this things like this happen. So Thalen and Cole, you guys go up about 2-3 decks to where you're finally at the entrance to the bridge, and the two of you have to work together to get the door to the bridge open. But before I even begin to describe what the bridge looks like, Cole, you lose your grip and begin falling. Now, you both have an option here to try either grabbing onto each other, grabbing onto another rung. I just want to make it clear that you only get one attempt each before you start to really fall.
Okay, so I'm hanging on to a rung, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna try to catch him.
Okay? I think that's going to be another fitness and con, please. I am going to set the difficulty at a 2.
Okay, if I could use a momentum to
You've
bump
got
me up
full
to
momentum
it.
at the moment.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. If that's all right, because I have low of all.
All right, well, there you go. The 2 successes is all you need. So yeah, you kind of do that thing where you get like a grip on his forearm, not just his wrist, and you stop Cole from falling several decks.
Oof, thank you, sir.
No problem, Commander. Now let's
Pull
get
the
you
rung
back
in.
up. Yeah.
That rung up there is a little bit slippery. Turbo lift grease.
It's canon now, turbo lift grease. All right. Well, now that you have averted disaster, you are able to enter into the bridge. Now, the bridge isn't your standard Columbia or even NX era. In fact, when you step onto the bridge, there's just a single chair. There's no stations, there's no helm, there's no ops. There's literally just a captain's chair with one of those like swinging consoles that we see in TNG that kind of comes across your lap in the very center of the room. No displays, nothing that would indicate that this is meant to be piloted by multiple people, just literally one chair, one console.
Commander, are you seeing this?
I served on an NX refit before, and this is not what one looks like.
As am I. Okay, I'm not imagining it. Okay, there's no stations along the walls. This is
Nope.
completely.
In fact, I would say that I hate to use the word liminal space here, but it's kind of eerie how empty this place is. Like, nothing on the wall, nothing on the floor, nothing on the ceiling. Even the view screen currently is turned off. It's all just matte gray aside from the chair, which the chair is actually made of what looks to be some sort of black leather, though you'd have to, scan it or give a poke inspection whether or not it's real leather.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up to the center console, kind of give it a visual once over, poke the chair
It's real leather.
okay, and then I'm going to look at the console,
Okay.
to see if I can make heads or tails of it.
Right. Let me ask this. This is going to be an insight con for you, Captain. And do you have
Okay.
anything related to starship recognition, perhaps, as a focus?
No.
Okay. Then I think you're
I
probably
have
going to be
Starfleet
rolling
protocols. That's it.
Well, you know what? Starfleet protocols would apply here. It's kind of the same vein. So I'll give that as a focus.
Okay.
I am going to set the difficulty here at a 3, though.
Okay. Anybody opposed to another momentum spend?
By all means.
Okay. Here goes.
All right.
Ooh.
So that's only 2 successes. So I don't know if you really want to spend determination, but I will say you could succeed at a cost here.
Let's succeed at a cost, because that makes things interesting.
Okay. Then what's going to happen is, as you're inspecting the console and as you're trying to figure out, what's going on with the chair, the console shimmers to life. And I guess, again, to sort of set the feeling of where we are in the timeline, even on a star, like a top-of-the-line starship of the Drake, because, again, we're in 2195, you're still basically dealing with like buttons and knobs and little LEDs and diodes. What appears on the console of the Gorgon's chair is something more like TNG, where it's tactile, meant to be tapped at. And in fact, the complication is going to be, you see that the current stardate, the day is correct. The year is 200 years out of date.
Which direction?
They are... So you're 2195. The ship thinks it's 2395.
Okay, so I'm gonna obviously be like I probably like poked it and it came to life.
Yep, illuminated for you.
And I'm gonna look at Cole and be like, there's a 200-year discrepancy here on this star date.
No, what? Ah, crap. Nothing goes good with time. This is...
No.
200 years.
200 years. Yes. I'm familiar a little bit with some of the Enterprise logs of some time-related incidents that were rather, according to some of the logs, mind-bending.
The time war.
Yeah, the would we be aware of that, GM?
I think it's safe to say that as captain and as somebody who has especially worked with Starfleet intelligence, you would both know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that in particular, yes. So I wonder if this is...
Does this have any of the telltale marks of what would have been in those reports that Archer would have left?
No. I would say that... I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. So Daniel's technology was decidedly 29th, and what you're seeing is more consistent with 24th, so TNG era.
It doesn't look familiar from what I've seen described in Archer's logs.
But a hull that can't be scanned through, a bridge set to be operated by a single person. That's definitely future.
We're definitely dealing with some advanced technology here, which might make repowering the ship a little bit more interesting for our chief engineer.
And it's going to make it hard to pull our chief engineer away from this puppy, too.
It's funny you mentioned that as we cut to AC and early. So, again, corridors, standard NX fare. You have to go through the Jeffries tubes. I did it to them, so I got to do it to early and AC. Fitness con, difficulty of 1 to see if you fall or make an ass out of yourself.
I'm spending a momentum.
Spending momentum. Excellent momentum spend.
Remedial
This is
PT.
playing hell with my knees, sir. Fitness con, you say?
Fitness con, yep.
I'm assuming survivalist.
Exo's going to have all 3 of us on PT in the shuttle bay after this.
Yep. And yes, a survival focus would, I'll give it to you in this instance.
What about starship design?
I too wish to spend a momentum.
If you increase the complication range to 18 to 20, it'll give you starship design.
No,
we're
don't
good.
do that.
We're good.
Okay, early is, he's fine. So that's 4,
Okay.
I believe you're, up to 4 momentum total. And then, you guys are
wow.
capped on
Holy.
momentum, actually.
Wow.
Reach you down the tube, sir.
I would like to spend 2 of those probably to create an advantage.
All right, what advantage do you want to create?
I mean, since we're overcapped,
Right.
drop that to 5. Anybody have any thoughts on that? I just think it would make sense to use it.
You're well versed in the what is known of the time Cold War. Or it could be that you are part of a club that speculates on future starship designs.
I was going to say,
conspiracy.
having worked with with highly advanced starship designs on a secret starbase in the middle of literal nowhere, I'll say that some of that I pass a system or an interface that I recognize, and that can be either here or in engineering.
Have it happen in engineering, I think. So when you guys open the main engineering doors, again, anachronistic, because you're expecting to see an NX or Columbia class warp core, which, as a reminder, or just kind of a here's what it looks like, a NX or a Columbia class basically has a horizontal warp core that's kind of like a big sort of oval that has just been stretched. And that's not what's in main engineering. In fact, what's in main engineering is kind of what a matter-antimatter reactor would look like on a Nova class. So kind of a smaller Voyager or a smaller Enterprise, as it were, from TNG, where AC, you recognize that, okay, yeah, that's the reactor chamber, that's, the EPS conduits, but you've never seen this style of intermix chamber. You've never seen anything like this before, even in your future speculation kind of a thing. What you will recognize, though, for your advantage, is that some of the consoles do show signs that they are from the same group that you used to operate under. It's not the exact same. It's kind of like several iterations of what they used.
Almost like, we designed a very, very, very early version of this, and here it is, actually mature, and this shouldn't be here. AC actually stops as he gets out of the Jeffries tube, to the point where the doc might run into him.
Oh, watch out behind you. Where should it be if it ain't supposed to be here? You aren't there, buddy?
All of this is a prototype. Except it's not. This is not. AC walks forward and starts looking at the consoles and kind of running his hand along the edge, not to where he'd interact with it, since he is familiar with the tech. But
what do you mean? It's like a experimental ship. Maybe that's why we couldn't penetrate it. It's designed to hide its nature.
It's certainly experimental. I just don't know I don't see how this could have advanced this far, unless. I mean, I guess the station could have been something that could have been part of a larger effort that I wasn't familiar with. But I'm going to attempt to interface with the console.
Okay. Well, same thing that happened to the captain happens to you. You tap it, and tactile display pops up on it, and you also now see that the start date is 200 years out of date.
Okay.
Ooh, that looks pretty slick.
It also looks like the computer thinks the start date is 200 years from now. And yet, I am going to. Yeah. He points it out.
Huh.
Brings up the status window, and there you go.
Well, what could make it malfunction like that, even though it's doing just fine on everything else?
I don't know. I'm going to attempt to, being as I am at least passingly familiar with an early version of this interface, I'm going to see if I can gather more information about the ship's systems.
Okay. So now I have to determine if I want this to be an engineering or security, because technically you are an engineer. You would go at it from an engineering perspective, but there are also special qualities about this ship's computer. So I think I'm going to make this a security. I think a security fits more. This is going to be a daring and a security. I am going to set the difficulty at a 4.
Ooh. Use that momentum if you have to.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got the 5 momentum.
Whoa. Careful there now. If this system don't expect you to enter something over there, you're going to want to enter it over there. I would like to assist with my security if that is acceptable.
Yeah, you may assist early. Why don't you give me a reason and security? Also power stats for you, I realize.
And since I'm familiar with this environment, would there happen to be a pad around if I were to create if I were to spend 2 momentum to create another advantage?
Yeah, if you want to spend 2 momentum, you can in fact find a 24th century pad that is fully powered.
I recognize that this is normally for an engineering task, but since I am still doing an engineering thing, I'm just using security because the ship is weird.
I mean, this looks like it's copy pasted from the builder. It doesn't say it has to be an engineering task.
Okay, well, it says you may reroll 1d20.
At the end it does say engineering task. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I'm good either way. I just figured.
Okay. I'll still let it happen. If you want to spend the 2 momentum to pick up a pad, I'll let it happen.
Okay, I'm gonna get the pad, and then I'm going to. This is a diff 4.
Diff 4. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I have already accounted for your knowledge, your advantages, and all that. It was a difficulty of 6. You just made it possible.
Oh boy!
I'm going to spend 3 momentum. If everybody's okay with that.
Spend as much as you want.
Okay. So, and I have a specialization in starship design, computers.
Many things would apply here.
Great.
And yeah, early roll that didn't get you an assist, unfortunately. But let's see what you get, AC. All right, that's only 2, but you can re-roll 1, which if it crits would get you there.
Using focus.
No pressure, of course.
Well, I have a determination too. So.
Also true, you have determination.
I'll spend the determination.
All right, what value are we tapping today?
If it's new, it must be better, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's not stupid, it's advanced.
So I'm assuming
and that's 1, yes.
I'm assuming you're going to reroll what, the 13 and the 15?
Yes. Okay.
There you go. You turn it from 2 successes into 5, so you actually get a momentum back. So yeah, AC, you do gain access to some of the computer. And what you're going to see is that, I keep saying it like a broken record, but the warp core, the computer, the bridge, pretty much every major area of the ship that isn't the corridors and isn't something that you could walk somebody through, all of it is 200 years ahead of you. All of it. In fact, the computer core is using something called bioneural gel pack, whatever the hell that is. You have no idea.
Don't let the captain cook.
The sick bay is equipped with hollow emitters. Like you're aware that hollow technology is a thing, but you've never, apparently the whole sick bay is equipped with them. You're also seeing that, interestingly, there are contemporary versions, as in 2195 relevant versions of major places on the ship. So there is not where they should be on the ship, but other places like on unused decks where there's a fake engineering, there's a fake bridge, there's a fake sickbay, if you get what I'm saying, where someone has designed this ship to fit in if you were able to steer people around the ship and not let them go out of sight.
And they're basically the full fake decks, like if you take the turbo lift to, the engineering deck and you would wander the hallways. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting, but right now I'm kind of on a mission to get more power.
Okay. So what I'm going to say is that you could start the reaction, the matter-antimatter reaction, because as far as I've been able to tell, the actual process of starting a warp core hasn't changed much from the NX era to even end of Nemesis.
You turn on the choke and then you pull the cord.
Yep.
I mean, it's basically like a manual car. If you know how to do manual, you're good. All I'm going to say is it's just going to take time to do.
What if I decide to bring one of the other auxiliary fusion plants online instead?
That would at least restore life support and would restore lighting, because at this point, all of you have been relying on either lights from consoles or like those
Helmet
wrist-mounted
lights.
lights in your jumpsuits.
Would that give us computer as well, or is that literally just
It will
lights
give
and
everybody
life support?
computers so that the bridge people will benefit as well.
Okay, then I don't want to start. I mean, as much as I want to, I'm not going to start the warp core right now.
Okay.
That comes later.
Has it occurred to you that turning this thing on might not be the best idea? I mean, whoever it is built this to pretend to be a Starfleet ship. What if it's somebody like Romulans or something?
Now who's seeing things under rocks?
Yeah, except I mean, the Romulans would have had to get into the Starfleet R&D to do this interface.
All right. Well,
Besides,
I'm not gonna go full coal on you.
having just played against that value, there is no way I can get away with not turning this on.
Yeah. All right.
So yes, I'm doing as well as I can to not crank up the warp core and only power up another fusion reactor.
All right. So you power up a fusion reactor, and across the ship, the lighting comes on, the air begins circulating, and on the bridge, as we cut back to the other part of the away team, as the lights and consoles spring to life, something shimmers. And appearing next to you in the command chair, because I don't think either of you sat down, you just sort of tapped at it.
Just poking at it.
Yeah. But sitting in the command chair is, well, they're dressed Starfleet. They have on a white uniform that actually would remind you of Nurse Chapel uniform in Star Trek New World. So it's just kind of a white uniform. You're not really sure what their rank is, but out of character, I will tell you that they have on the pips for commander. So they've got 2 gold and 1 black. Or no, it's 3 gold. Captain is 4. Yeah, so they've got 3 gold pips. And then they are not human. They're not Vulcan. They're not any species you would be familiar with. And instead, what they are like is they are very large, as in like 7-8 foot tall. They have red skin. They have 2 black horns that come from the top of their head. They have long white hair. And their hands are also sort of that leathered red, and they end not quite in talons, but very, very sharp fingernails, almost like claws on occasion. And as this individual, whoever they are, materializes, they sort of look at the 2 of you and say, "Hello, I am the Assistant Superintendent Hologram, or ASH for short. I do not recognize you as members of the vessel. Do you have access codes?"
I kind of look at Cole.
We have access codes to our vessel. We were responding to a distress call on this vessel.
And Ash, quote unquote, their head sort of quirks to the side, just like Data sometimes does, and goes, "Ah, yes, a distress call was sent approximately... the experiment was a success then." And she kind of looks at you more critically now. And you can actually see that as she's talking, parts of her begin to develop. And I don't mean that like in a lewd way. I mean like her hologram is changing and her voice is changing, almost to like fit the era, if you will, where she's becoming less of just a normal hologram and adapting to the current situation. But as she sort of morphs a little bit, she says, "This is 2195. You have not met the Cornet, which means... well, I shall not change my species. That would be more confusing. What I can tell you, Captain, by the look of your pips, I can tell you that this is a Starfleet intelligence vessel, and unless you have access codes, I must ask you to leave immediately."
Is there nothing that we can do for this ship, since you appear to be crewless, stranded out of time?
Another head quirk. Interesting. The captain is no longer present on the vessel. I have no idea where he may have gone.
Do you have any access to crew logs, the captain's log?
I do, but they would require an access code.
I'm just gonna try mine.
Okay. I think even if I were gonna make you roll, I don't think like this is like a difficulty 6 or 7 like kind of a thing. So
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work, but he's going to try.
yeah, so I think you enter into the code into the console, and it just kind of goes, and it definitely says, Ash says, sorry, that code is several hundred years out of date. It does not check out.
Considering we're currently 200 years ahead of you with the current code.
Ah, clever wordplay, but no, it will not work.
Sir,
Yes,
I
Commander.
have a tool back in my quarters that might be able to assist us. I didn't bring it on this mission. Tricorder
Okay.
I took on the previous visit with the Thornley vessel.
Oh, that tricorder. Okay. All right. If you think it will be useful.
However, I don't want to leave you by yourself. No offense to you, Ash, but
All right.
I can't have anybody on board the ship to go get it.
That's true. We can't communicate. Actually, Ash, since we have power, are you able to establish communications with the vessel outside?
I'm sorry, that would require an access code.
Darn it. Worth a shot.
However,
If we
I can facilitate communication with the rest of your away team who are currently located in Maine Engineering.
Please do.
So, AC, early, you kind of hear just a chime. And moments later, one of the console screens lights up, and you're seeing a view of the very odd bridge with Ash, Thalen, and Cole all present.
Hey, you found somebody from the crew. Hi there.
A
Need medical assistance?
hologram. But
Like
yes,
a hologram.
a very good hologram.
it's a
Kind of looked like a devil.
How can we help, sir?
we need to get in communication with the Drake. If you can, pump a little bit of power into the communication system.
Whoa. AC, aren't you going to tell the captain about the clock?
Sir, looks like we're out of time.
Yes, we
Or-
saw that too on one of the on the console on the bridge.
Oh,
This ship appears to be 200 years out of time.
whew.
199 years and 6 months, to be precise.
They still going to be making Columbias all the way up to them?
I'm sorry.
I don't
that
think this is a
information
Columbia, sir.
I'm sorry, that information requires an access code.
Sir, this vessel is a. It's almost a. It's not a Q ship, but. And it's definitely not a walker, but it literally played one on TV. Sorry. It's it pretends to be a walker, but it's not, as I'm sure you've discovered. There's a
Yeah.
dummy engineering, a dummy sick bay.
I'm gonna kind of side eye Ash, even though I know that she's not going to answer if I ask her. Okay. Apparently, we need access codes to access basically any of the major systems. So don't.
Now, did my access code, since I was able to do things down here, did my access code as a theoretical developer, early developer of this UI, help us at all?
If you give me
I'm
a threat and a
curious.
momentum, I will say that we can create that advantage.
What do you think, guys?
Mm.
I think it's worth a shot. Let's see what happens.
Yes, sure.
So I can explain this in a different way, but the easiest thing I can think of, have you seen Ready Player One or read the book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know how the developer put in Easter egg, quote unquote, that it's basically an Easter egg where, yeah, your code will give you some system access. It won't give you full systems access, but it will give you some.
Okay. I will speak to, I guess, the hologram and indicate that. Can you transfer the the access code input prompts here, please.
Head kind of quirks, and yeah, you get an input terminal.
I will put in a code I haven't used in some time. When I was a teenager.
Up,
So-
down, left, right, A, B, start.
Yeah,
Yes.
Konami code. There you go. So you enter in the code. Ash kind of narrows her eyes and says, "That code permits you to have level 1 access."
I did participate in the design of this UI. Okay, so what can I do? What are my menus?
Displaying menu now. And both on the bridge, you're going to see it as kind of like holographic menus that just appear in the space. And then AC, you're going to see it on the terminals. What you are seeing is that you have access to some of the personal logs of the crew. You have access to the fact that there was ever only one crew member aboard, a commander. No, I said they were a captain. Let me see. Here they are. Here's the name. They are Captain Wellington. And you are able to confirm that this vessel is 2 months out of dry dock, as it were. Apparently, it has some form of temporal phasing built into the hull, but what the hell that means, you can really only guess. Other than that, you would have the ability to turn on the main reactor. You would have the ability to fire up impulse engines, but you cannot go to warp.
Right.
You cannot lift the vessel off, and you still have, again, limited computer access. So basically just, you know, if you have a question, you're either going to get an answer or a, "I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that."
Ash, right? I
That is
noticed
correct.
that you or this ship are equipped with for lack of a better term, dummy versions of various ship spaces. Are you also equipped with functional replicas of those relevant systems? Let's say sensors, for example. I know that you likely will not allow us to access this ship's contemporary sensor array. Would you allow us to access this ship's silly replica of the NX sensor array?
Unfortunately, that would require level 4 systems access.
And you run a systems check to look for your captain to see if he's on the planet, somewhere else on the ship.
I have already run several level 5 diagnostics, and I can confirm that the captain is no longer aboard the vessel.
Can you operate the short-range sensors to see if the captain is somewhere else on the planet?
I have scanned the planet we are currently located on. There are no life signs aside from the ones coming from your vessel.
What do you think happened to your captain? Is he the one who sent a distress signal?
Unknown. Unfortunately, speculation would require level 3 systems access.
Those logs are still locked. Cole, let's head back to the ship. See
Roger.
if we can't find a key.
Why'd you send an alert distress signal then?
That would require level 2 access, unfortunately.
All right. Let's go.
Yes, we don't rate a level 2, sir. Yep, we're going with you.
Ash, if we leave, we'll be allowed to come back to talk to you and try to input our access.
You have provided a valid level 1 access code that does permit you to move throughout certain areas of the ship.
We would like to move to the airlock at whatever point.
As that is your only ingress and egress, it is only logical that I permit you to continue to go and leave or come back.
Thank you.
What species are you emulating?
I'm sorry, that information requires a level 2 access.
Don't know why I even thought to ask it. All right.
Do I have read-only access to the ship status, or is it just how much can I see? I want to see if these systems were turned off in an orderly fashion, or if they were shut down due to some sort of calamity.
Go ahead and give me an insight engineering, and we're going to do this, and then we'll go to break, because we are coming up on the hour mark. But yeah, I'm going to set this as an insight engineering, difficulty of 3. And you just get a momentum from chat, so that you got that going for you.
I would love to attempt to help.
If you tell me how.
I did take an engineering survey class.
Well, doesn't that require spending momentum to get it in the first place?
No, I mean, like when I was in Starfleet Academy, I did literally I have one whole level of engineering.
Oh, this isn't like you stayed at a Holiday Inn.
Yeah, I got a C.
Ah,
yeah.
C double minus, as they say.
Yeah, what's the? It's insight engineering.
Insight engineering. Yep.
I'm super insightful. All right. Well, I'm not likely to succeed, but I will attempt to help.
Just gotta believe. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Just gotta believe. Excellent.
I have a focus in power systems and starship design and warp field dynamics and computers. I think I'll probably be okay.
Actually,
you shouldn't have said that.
Actually, no.
Yep.
So, with 0 successes.
Yeah, I just didn't do it.
Yep. Just you don't have access.
I'm just floored by this, by all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm distracted.
Yeah. And I think so that we end the first part of this session on a cliffhanger. The complication that chat's going to redeem is that when you try to access the ship status, main engineering's console is locked out, and Ash turns to the captain and says, "I'm sorry, the permission of your Lieutenant Commander AC Chatham has been revoked temporarily."
For a specified period of time?
Yes, the lockout period will persist for a series of 3 hours. At which point, I would suggest resetting your access password. Did you know that by including numbers, serial numbers, symbols, and other sorts of characters, you can make your access code more secure?
Now, are they, because currently now we're like around, was it 15 or 18 characters for a secure password? Are they somewhere in like 100 digits?
Yeah, they're probably like, well, you know that one scene where Data emulates Picard and does like the rattling on for like a minute and a half? Yeah.
Or it's gotten so sophisticated it's just one?
Yeah. But yeah. So, as you all decide how to deal with that, we are going to go to a break. And I do want to say real quick, thank you, Raiders. I did see you come in. Thank you. Hello. We will be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so stick around. Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of session 3 of season 2 of Star Trek Drake, a Star Trek Adventures actual play. If you're just joining us, or maybe it's been a while since you watched the first part, the players have managed to find a ship out of time. But it's not just a ship out of time, it's a, what did you call it, AC? A Q ship, as it were? Where it is designed to look the part of a classic 2195 Columbia class, but it is 200 years out of date. It has TNG Voyager Nemesis era technology, which does not work when it comes to a lot of things, actually. And the players were able to reactivate the secondary power and trigger the Assistant Superintendent hologram, or ASH, and they've learned that they need more access codes, or at least a higher level access. So the players, at least as far as I'm aware, made it a point to go acquire a certain tricorder from Commander Cole's quarters. So Commander Cole, let's actually focus in on that. As we enter into your quarters, where exactly in your quarters is that tricorder stashed at the moment?
There's a safe.
Okay. Now this safe, is it built into the floor? Is it built into a desk, a nightstand?
Built into a desk.
Built into a desk, okay. Is this something you've added, or is this something that came on the Drake?
On the Drake for secure, to put classified information, that type of stuff.
So I know the captain's there for sure. Early, AC, did you want to be there as well, or are you guys still floating around somewhere? You're also muted, AC, as is tradition.
I will
Yes,
definitely
it's
not
me
go
too.
in the guy's quarters to watch him open his safe, but I'll hang out in the hallway.
Oh,
I would probably stay aboard reading the pad.
Oh
Fair.
well, I'm not going to leave him alone. We're doing the buddy system, so I'm
Doing the
going to
buddy
stay and
all right,
just
so AC
yeah.
and earlier are going to be poring over a pad. So Thalen, you see Commander Cole open up the safe, and Cole, you pull out the tricorder, and what you're going to see is actually the tricorder is already active.
Okay, that was unexpected. Is it running anything, or
It does appear to be running a program you don't remember loading on it.
when you start dealing with Starfleet intelligence, sir?
Your tricorder is not supposed to be on.
I didn't leave it on, so it's running a program. Can I see
That's
what
concerning.
it is? Yes. Can I see what program it is running, or?
Yeah, I was just trying to formulate in my head how I wanted to do this. Sorry about that pause. Why don't we do an insight security for you, or even reason security, either insight or reason plus security, and I'm gonna set difficulty here to 3.
I would say I would assist, but I don't know anything about this thing, so
I'm as insightful as I am reasoning, which is not a lot. I might have to add a new focus to me soon.
I was gonna say, you guys are gonna get a little something at the end of this mission because it has been a while.
So I do not have a focus unless negotiation diplomacy.
Nah, not gonna help you here.
All right. And no focus. We have. Let me use that 1 momentum.
Okay, rolling 3. Let me see. I see 3 successes. Correct me. I literally had a brain fart. Did I say 3 or 4 difficulty? I think I said 4. Was it 3?
I think it was 3, but I missed it.
Tell you what, I will be nice. We'll say it was a 3. If I literally just retconned myself 30 seconds ago, whatever. I just legitimately blanked for some reason.
So did I.
I did the same.
Because I was like, I'm not rolling this, and just.
I was busy looking for focuses that could apply and how I could twist them.
Happens to the best of us, we're all of that age where we're just like, that happens. Okay, now I have to pick up the pieces. Great.
Temporal flux.
Anyway, with 3 successes, you can determine that this program is actually kind of a listening program. Somebody is actively using your tricorder as a bridge gap to listen in and try and access the ship's systems.
Any way to turn it off?
By the ship,
you
mean
could
the
pull out the tricorder's power pack or throw it out an airlock.
Well, Cole,
Yeah, the phaser.
if we manage to get it onto the other
Phaser.
ship, it might block all of the signals to our ship.
just to be clear, when you say it's accessing the ship systems, you mean it's the Drake systems, right?
The Drake systems, correct.
The concern I would have, sir, is that when we downloaded information off the Tholian vessel, we might have picked up a little bit of something else that could be pulling stuff from us, and I definitely don't want to take it over to the other ship.
That's a fair point. Press a wall comm panel. Thalen to Zygen.
Zygen here, sir.
How familiar are you with Tholian programming languages?
Honestly, sir, I could probably tell you that that's a green button and that's an orange button.
Okay.
Why, sir? Do you need me to do something related to the Tholians?
We have a potential Tholian programming breach.
Okay, I would question how, but I can learn that later. Do you need me to come to deck 4, section 3?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Be right there, sir.
Zygen, is there a way that you can erect something similar to a Faraday cage to block any incoming signals of all bands for about the size of a tricorder?
I could apply them to that whole section of your quarters, sir, if you really wished.
Do it.
Perfect. Do it.
All right. So, Zygen does trigger what is basically either an emergency bulkhead or some form of force field that does isolate your quarters. She arrives in short order, and she kind of looks at the tricorder as you offer it out to her, and, well, I'm no expert, sir, but that doesn't look like Tholian programming language, or at least the symbols are Earth Federation. They're not like the Tholian glyphs that I'm used to seeing.
Okay. This was the given to Exos. It's for intelligence type information. It gets anything pulled off of this gets reported back to Starfleet intelligence. It has some other little goodies I can tell the captain, but
I would
the
be interested in learning, but
I'll fill you in, sir. I was surprised they haven't already told you about it. Which something else I probably need to talk to you about.
You just kind of get this look. But
yeah, Zygen
right.
kind of scratches the side of her helmet and says, "Well, do you need me to confirm anything else, sir?" Or
yeah, leave this barrier erected until further notice from the captain or me.
Aye, sir. I will return to the bridge if you need me.
I'm going to look into the tricorder for two things.
Okay.
One priority is looking back to the other ship.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything on there about an intelligence backdoor, kind of like what AC did, where intelligence, knowing about all the timey-wimey stuff in the future, would have a built-in code that they could drop it for a level Black Delta Zulu.
Yeah, there you go. Personally, I like the FUBAR code. That's always a good one.
That works out.
Or the Dilligaf code. That's another good one.
The Foxtrot code.
Yeah. Listen, the WTF code is a sacred code. We keep that one for emergencies. But no, yes, you would see that somebody has, as you asked, somebody has implemented a backdoor. Someone has to use a valid access code, or at least an access code that gives them the ability to do this. But you will notice that the tricorder is still trying to reach out, but it's no longer having a connection to the Drake's systems.
Okay. The second thing I wanted to do was, once we got the code that we can give to Ash, potentially, is anything I can do on the tricorder to figure out what the tricorder is trying to do reaching out.
Is there a way, Cole, to see the timestamp of when the program began running?
That'll give to you free. Anything more is going to require momentum spends or questions. The program began the almost instant that that auxiliary power on the Gorgon was activated.
Okay.
Definitely a reason to get some more information out of Ash if her systems are trying to interface with your tricorder.
Or if, even more scary, the tricorder is trying to reach out to her.
That would potentially be worse. Especially, timeline and temporal, all of that. I'd rather not have a 29th century agent appear in my quarters, taking me random places because of this.
Whammy.
GM resists the urge to spend threat.
Daniels, what are you doing here?
Double the cost of a board cube.
Oh Lord.
All right. So it's reaching out to the time that they opened up. Can we tell that if it's something the tricorder recognized, or if the ship reached out to it?
You spend momentum, I will answer that question.
Yeah, we'll spend one momentum.
The Gorgon reached out to the tricorder.
Okay, less scary. but still scary.
And definitely want to keep the tricorder on board then.
All right. Well, let's pull the code. And give it to Ash and AC. See what we can get out of the ship and see what happened to it. Why it's here.
Roger. Let's head back.
So,
And I put the tricorder back in the safe.
Okay. So the question when it comes to Cole and Thalen, again, you have to cross the gangplank and go onto the Gorgon in order to get in contact with AC and Early. Are you also going to go to main engineering, or are you just going to kind of just step past the threshold, then come in?
I want to give them the code as quickly as possible, so I am going to step across the threshold, pull out my communicator, and
punch it in. All right. Well, at this point, just a quick thing to fill in AC and Early while all that was going on. You two have been poring over the pad, much like the main computer. Most of the logs are encrypted and not really of any use, but there is one log in particular that is kind of like a silly personal log that you might expect from someone like Ensign Ricky, today I had so-and-so, for dinner, and I'm expecting to read this later, and I'm thinking of doing this. But it is from Captain Wellington, the supposed captain of the vessel, and he details at length about his thoughts on Klingon diplomacy and how that if the Klingons were contacted earlier, they might have been able to help with something called the Typhon Pact. You have no idea what the Typhon Pact is out of character, or in character. Out of character, if you know what it is, just don't meta it. But Wellington goes on to say that, maybe if this contact happened early enough that it could avert a war of some kind, or at least that's the implication you guys are getting.
Klingons in war, that ain't exactly a stretch, if nothing else.
Yeah. Other than that, that's probably going to take a lot of your time because Wellington apparently pontificates quite a bit. But you do get a call from Captain Thalen and is able to provide that access code. So, yeah. Provide that access code. Ash's hologram appears in main engineering and says, I can grant you level 3 systems access.
Oh, doesn't that feel nice?
However, I will tell you that the code you are providing is largely out of date. You must reset your password at your earliest convenience.
Honestly, Ash, I reckon you're going to find a lot of things out of date ever since your ship flew through the Bermuda Tesseract or whatever.
You're muted, AC.
Please walk me through that process, the password change process.
And she holds up like a glowing sphere of holographic light and says, please place your hand into the light and speak very clearly the passcode you would wish to use.
Don't worry, I ain't listening.
I'm sure it's voice print as well.
Yeah, you would know that you as an engineer know that it's partially voice print. So if data comes along, you're still screwed, but
Yes. But that's not a thing.
Yet.
That we know of, yeah.
There's no such thing as data.
Mm-hmm.
He will put his hand in
and
he'll put his hand in and give like a 25 character random string of words and words.
Recorded. Please input it again.
And again. It is meaningful to him.
I'm going to spend a threat because I find it funny that Ash's head quirks his eyes and says, I'm sorry, digit number 4 was incorrect, or at least did not match between the two passwords.
Let's give this a go.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. You try it again, and this time it works.
Okay.
I just wanted to mess with you a little bit. But yeah, after you reset your password, Ash says, again, you have level 3 access at the moment. How may I assist you?
I will attempt to bring up the ship's current stat. Oh, well, I've already done that. There was something that was level 2 that we wanted. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Well, I was wondering what species Ash was supposed to look like, with the whole devil appearance.
You want to ask that first? Ash kind of straightens up a little bit, and again, she's 7-8 foot tall hologram, so she's big. She says, I am from a species known as the Cornet. We are a warrior race, not at all dissimilar to the Klingons. However, unlike the Klingons, who have romanced the concept of honor and not actually followed it, I can assure you that the Cornet are much more honorable warriors.
So you've assumed a personality template as well as the appearance.
That is correct, yes. Though I will admit it is rather ironic. Cornet do not like holograms. We have a colored history with them.
Huh. Well, okay. So, any idea what happened to your captain?
Accessing. Captain Wellington departed the vessel approximately 2 hours after the experiment was a success. Destination unknown. I can confirm that he took a shuttle pod. After that, the ship was put on program Beta 9 and is now where Beta 9 is supposed to be.
Was the distress signal sent before he left?
Unknown. In fact, the distress signal is an abnormality. It is not part of Beta 9.
So I guess he didn't expect us to find you.
Was the program triggered by... Did the captain trigger the program, or trigger the distress signal, or did some other factor trigger the distress signal?
Accessing. Did I just hear a cat?
The cat did it. Oh, no.
Anomaly has wandered on.
Did Anomaly get on the wrong ship? Hey, get back here.
Spending threat that Anomaly is now running around main engineering of the Gorgon.
I will unsuccessfully round her up.
One way to get rid of her.
But Ash just kind of thinks for a moment and goes, I do not have an answer. I cannot say what triggered the activation of the distress signal.
How long has the distress signal been active?
Approximately 2 months. 5 days. 7 hours. 36 minutes. 12 seconds.
And you're confident that even though the ship was in a low power state, that your ability to keep time is valid, that it's been unaffected.
I can confirm that temporal integrity is intact.
Well, so what you're telling us is that there's some fella from 200 years in the future done flown off 2 months ago to God knows where, doing God knows what.
Odd
That
question.
would be a succinct way of summarizing it, yes.
A shuttle. You mentioned a shuttle pod. A shuttle pod that's contemporaneous with this ship, or a shuttle pod that is contemporaneous with our current level of technology.
I'm sorry, that would require level 4 systems access.
I know I'm not there, but does the computer have a log of his heading, perhaps his destination?
I mean, if there's any way we could patch the two of them in, I would very much like to.
I mean, yeah, you can be Cole
I mean,
and
we're walking
Valen.
there, so
Yeah, you guys
we'll get
can
there
be listening in
eventually.
on this. So you ask about the heading, and Ash does hesitate and says, technically that information is valid with a level 3 access code. However, my programming suggests that I not readily offer such information.
Why? Where did that portion of your programming come from?
I'm sorry, that would require a level 5 access code.
How many levels are there?
There are approximately... I'm sorry, that would require a level 5 access code.
Well, there's at least 5.
Oh boy.
Woo! Fun.
In approximately the 2 months that you've been here without the captain, how far has this planet traveled?
And because I am terrible at astronavigation, she rattles off hundreds of millions of kilometers that this thing has traveled relative to where it came in. So if you were to feed the astronavigational data back to the Drake and run the planet back, it matches up. It's not that it moved the planet or anything.
I understand that you can't tell us that you can't give us information about your captain. Could you seem to be very capable. Could you redact information about the captain shuttle pod, but give us sensor data for the last 2 months since this distress signal started?
I believe that is possible, yes. However, I will require someone with a captain-level access code to proceed. And it's about this time that Thalen and Cole, you walk into main engineering.
Well, I have a code.
Just in time, sir.
Okay, I can give it a shot.
Your current password, it does not meet current password requirements. Would you like to make a new one?
Certainly.
All right, you go through the same process as AC. I'll spend a threat that you get messed with as well. And you now have a shiny new password that's also valid on the Drake, which is fun. But once you input your new code, Ash reports, I am able to output for the captain's eyes only at that terminal over there. And she points like across main engineering to where the engineering office is. So you can step in, kind of where Jordy sits on TNG. You can step in there and read whatever it is.
I'll step in, turn on the terminal, and look at it.
All right. Now, I don't want to stonewall you here, but I am going to tell you that what you get is about 75 to 85% redacted. Like, it's just blocks after blocks of just either hashed out characters or just literally just blacked out lines. And what you are able to tell, though, is that Captain Wellington was here as part of Project Sumerian.
That don't sound ominous at all.
Project Sumerian.
Now, you have no idea what Project Sumerian does or what Project Sumerian is supposed to do, but you are at least able to tell that much.
But no headings, no
headings, no parts of the plan, nothing like that.
So I kind of look at Ash and be like, all right, so we have no way to find out if your captain is still alive with this information.
Unfortunately not. However, and I think this is where I'm going to spend the complication that chat just gave me. Ash shimmers for a moment, like her hologram fritzes out and says, I am unfortunately having to report that the bioneural gel pack is needing replacement for the main computer access. However, none of you, and she starts glitching out, like her head starts twitching and she starts stuttering. You're not able to get anything coherent out of her, but she does point at the same terminal that AC and Early started at, or at least at the pad, and you see that there are instructions on not only where to find extra bioneural gel packs, but where and what to replace.
I think I know what she was talking about, actually. I was reading in one of my surgery digests about this goo that they've developed that they think might be able to use for artificial thoughts, like computer type stuff. I wish to spend a momentum to activate my Holiday Inn Express talent.
Seems fantastical, but well, Doc.
Yeah, if you think it's possible,
let's give it a shot.
All right, where'd she say it was?
I will take the pad.
Yeah, so Early, go ahead and roll me either a reason or an insight plus engineering, or I'd give you medicine in this regard as well.
I will definitely assist with engineering, unless you'd rather me. Yeah.
All right. Well, my focus would apply, I presume, but that would therefore extend my complication range to a 2.
That is correct.
And I will just roll the 2 dice. Kapow.
Well, there's 2 successes.
Yay!
Nice.
Yeah, it's like a sort of gel that they want to make.
There's 3.
Purely theoretical, mind you, at this juncture.
All right. Well,
AC takes the panels off the wall.
Yeah. So actually, it's not within main engineering that you have to go, but the gel pack you have to pick up to replace is in main engineering. So you actually go over to what is essentially a mini fridge, and you open it up, and there's like 5 or 6 gel packs inside. I assume you grab just one, or do you want to grab all of them?
Here we go. See, let's get 2 just in case we mess up the first one.
Sure, that seems to be okay.
right. Someone
I'll get
make a
one
note that
vegan.
you have an extra binaural gel pack because that might become important later.
Yep.
But yeah, Ash's directions would take you to the computer core, which is located on the same deck. But the difference is, again, this isn't your Walker class computer core, which is quite literally still semiconductors and takes up like several decks. This is the TNG Voyager era computer core, where it takes up maybe a deck and a half and does so many operations a second that it's the difference between a snail and like a Bugatti in terms of speed, maybe even higher than that.
I'm going to use my tricorder.
What the tarnation is that? Can't be a computer. It's too big.
That is interesting. AC is just in shock
I
at
figured.
detecting a subspace
Early
field.
waves his hand in front of AC's face. You all right there?
I think I'm detecting a subspace field.
Oh,
If I'm
Starship. They're all over the place, ain't they?
not in a computer.
So it is a computer. Like a warp
Later. Wow. Okay.
computer. Right.
Let's do this.
All right, so where do we pour in the radiator fluid as we're...
I will take off another series of panels.
Yeah, you take off a series of panels. Now, the only reason I'm going to have you roll here is because this is kind of one of those, the mission can go one way, the mission can go another. So very important roll. Technically, you are still in contact with the captain and the commander if we need to exercise their special abilities. But I will tell you, this is going to be a daring engineering. This will be a difficulty of 5. The complication range will be the maximum of 16 to 20. And I will say that you only get one source of an assist. Can be the good Dr. Early, can be Cole, can be Thalen, but you only get one.
I have a total of 9.
Wow.
I do have a focus, though.
Yeah, I've got to focus in computers. And I have a toolkit. Does that reduce my difficulty, or is
That
it
has been
diff 5
factored in
because of a
already.
toolkit?
Yeah, it's already been factored in. Was difficulty 6, it's now difficulty 5.
Mhm.
Can either of you beat a 9 with a focus?
I've got a rather complicated engineering task here, sir.
What was the stats that we needed to use again?
Daring
Daring
and
engineering.
Daring and engineering. I have a 10 total. I don't think I have a focus though.
Where AC had to do a security test to do an engineering role, I actually can do 12. I have a 10 and a 2
There you
for
go.
daring engineering.
That's definitely better than mine.
Do we want to give up a crap load of threat?
Yes.
You also do have determination.
I can also give
I
my
don't.
determination as captain.
Yep, that's what I mean.
Yep.
So
Oh, yes.
I will use my captain ability and give my determination to AC.
So, do you think I should use it now for success, or should I save it for?
Well, I
For,
mean, there's no. Is there any drawback to just
rerolls.
rolling the dice first?
Well, that's the thing, is that you have to declare before the roll if you want to use determination for the 2 free successes.
Right.
After the roll has been made, you can only use determination to re-roll.
That's why I'm asking the party who's probably run into this situation more than I have.
It
What-
seems like the reroll's mathematically the better advantage to me.
That's
Well,
fine with me.
It's 1 crit off the bat, and then you need 2 momentum to do another die.
Do we want to give 3 threat as momentum so that I can roll 4 dice?
I believe that is a good idea. Yes.
Sure.
Well, of course you say sure. Yes, we will do that.
And Cole's gonna assist.
Cole can do the...
Attempt.
Yeah, XO, if you can, I might need your help down here. This panel is particularly heavy. I don't think I can hold it open, and muck about in here at the same time.
Not a problem. I'll hold the flashlight.
Ah, yes, the time-honored tradition of holding the flashlight while the engineer curses out and spits words of violence and anger at his machine.
Your
Reminds me of
vocabulary
time
drops
spent-
to about 6.
Reminds me of time spent with my dad.
This is a role I can literally succeed on and
still
experience
complicate.
complications. Yeah.
Well, you got 1 success from Cole, so we just need to see 4 more.
Daring engineering is literally my best check.
That is
Okay,
6
there we go.
successes with no
Impressive.
complications, no 7 successes, including Cole's, so you get 2 momentum right back.
Wow.
Yeah, you replace that bioneural gel pack, and as soon as it's in and you've put the panel back where it needs to, Ash rematerializes fully and says, "Apologies, there was a corruption in the previous bioneural gel pack. I would recommend disposing of it immediately, unless one of you is a authorized Section 31 medical personnel."
Look at the doc.
No, I am not.
Thalen just has completely quizzical look. He does not know what any of this is.
No.
Dispose of it
Sorry,
we
Ash.
shall.
Is there a disposal bay?
A little slot like opens up, and again, we don't have replicators in 2195, but out of character, you know it's a replicator. Just toss it in there and it'll whoosh out of sight.
Just put
There
it
we
in
go.
disposal. There we go. Yeah.
No. Futuristic garbage can.
It appears some of my security algorithms were activated the last time I was active. I will need you to re-enter your command codes if you wish to have systems access.
Girl, you are just a one-track mind.
Okay.
with these passwords.
I'll start off with the one I reset earlier.
Okay. So you
So
get
there we
level
go.
1 again.
Oh no, with the one I reset, the level 3 one.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, you get
The
level 3.
Intel backdoor.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right. I will get in with my old with my level 1, reset it, then get out and use the level 3. That way they're all square.
Okay. You get back to level 3. And then the
Um,
question is, does the captain do the same?
The captain is also going to input his code.
Captain, I need you to roll me, what is your command score? 5?
Yes.
I need you to roll me 5 challenge dice, please. And I need to see at least 2 effects here for something special to happen. That is 3
Boom.
effects.
There we go.
So,
It's either really good or really bad.
Yeah, no, it's actually really good in your favor. As you reset your code, Ash says, "Confirmed. You are now granted level 5 systems access."
Wasn't it supposed to? Never mind. Never mind.
Sir, I think it might be a good idea for you to assume command in the absence of any other qualified command grade officer.
Ash, am I able to temporarily assume command of this vessel?
As captain, that would be within your purview to do so with a level 5 access code.
Then consider command assumed by Thalen, Captain Starfleet.
Noting in log, command has been transferred from Captain Wellington to Captain Thalen at and she doesn't finish the time code. She just kind of looks off up to the right, and then she looks back and says, "Apologies, there is a discrepancy in main computer core. I've identified it as a Romulan virus. I am isolating it and purging it from my system."
How long has this
that got on
virus
the
been
thread?
active, Ash?
According to what I'm able to tell, the Romulan code was loaded during... That is interesting. It was loaded during the Gorgon's construction phase.
Really?
Well, now.
Hmm.
I'm guessing in 200 years the Romulans ain't no more friendly and trustworthy than they was now.
Ash, do I have further access to ship's logs?
At level 5, you have full systems access.
Run another check of Captain Wellington's heading.
According to his current heading, or at least what I have available from 2 months ago, he was heading towards the Hobus system.
Oh, heck. Tell me that ain't
Romulan
part of the
space.
Romulan Empire, is it?
And no check required. You all know that Hobus is the Romulan star system. So.
Oh, did he go from the future to give secrets of time travel to the Romulans?
All
What
right.
is the? What was the captain? What would the captain's flight time have been in that vehicle?
At warp 8, he would arrive at the Hobus system within... That is not possible. In fact, I believe I am dealing with a secondary virus. One moment. And again, the reason I'm being a little bit finicky with information is you guys are saying the right things. So, there is a secondary program that was attempting to corrupt my heading data. Apologies, I have found and isolated it once more. The captain is not headed for Hobus. The captain was headed for the Klingon Empire. Current star charts would put him going towards the Narendra system.
That whole thing about contacting the Klingons before.
Yeah, that log that you found.
Yeah, it said something about avoiding a war by contacting the Klingons and telling them about some kind of Typhon. I may not know much about Klingons or Starfleet intelligence, but I know an awful lot of Greek mythology.
And I think Ash looks expectantly at the captain. I could explain the Typhon Pact if you were to order it, sir.
For the sake of us figuring this out, I think that would be necessary. I look at the other 3 members of the crew. Per regulations, no information may leave this room to the rest of the crew.
Or I've
Understood,
forgotten
sir.
more than I know.
10-4, Captain.
And as Ash begins to explain, the Typhon Pact is a conglomeration of the Tholians, the Breen, the Zenkethi, and starts listing off all the real Typhon Pact members, which we'll cover next session. But as she's explaining all this to you, we are actually going to zoom out of the Gorgon and off this D-class moon to a little shuttlecraft flying towards Klingon space. And we don't see the inside of the shuttlecraft, but we see the shuttlecraft come to a stop, make a slight course change, looking like it's going to go back the way it came, and then it seems to change its mind and shift back to its original heading before continuing on. And that's where we're going to end this session, as I believe we're going to be dealing with a 2-parter, which is always fun. But yeah, what'd you guys think? I think this is technically our first real timey-wimey thing, so
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
like it.
trying to make it work because it's real. It's a huge difference between 2195 and 2395. So
Yeah.
But also on the show, if they do time travel stuff, the characters on the show don't have foreknowledge that we have from being fans of the show. So
exactly,
there's like a whole other,
and you
there's
guys
a
are
whole
doing great.
other
You guys
layer of
aren't
challenge
editing.
there.
Like, you guys are just asking the right things. Like, had you not said the right things, I would have required roles. But since you obviously did what you had to do, we're just foregoing roles. So good job there. But yeah, with that, Twitch, stick around because we're going to raise 70. But YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.